We are Georgia and David. In March of 2022, we quit our jobs to travel the world full-time. We are currently exploring Mexico, and our goal is to visit 100 Pueblos Mágicos. Today is our first day exploring Mexico City.
Our plans for the day were to get up pretty early because it is rainy season. So that means that every day, somewhere between 2 and 5, it usually starts raining. So we're trying to get everything done quick this morning. Reforma is actually closed every Sunday for people to ride bikes and to jog and to walk their dogs. So we were only able to ride the bus to the La Diana station, and we're going to walk the rest of the way to Chapultepec Castle.
We just finished up touring Chapultepec Castle. Today is Sunday, so residents and nationals get in free. Otherwise, it's 90 pesos.
Definitely worth it, though. The castle is very large and impressive. The first half is their National History Museum, and it goes over from indigenous times through their fight for independence and then their Civil War. It even goes over the children heroes of Chapultepec Castle, and they have a little monument to them. The second half was my favorite, though. It's actually just like a tour of the palace. They have period furniture and paintings, and it's mostly from the time where Porfirio Diaz and his wife lived at the castle. I love that kind of stuff, so really enjoyed it. Our next stop, though, is the Anthropology Museum, which I am really looking forward to.
It's walked about a kilometer to the Anthropology Museum.
The whole walk was through Chapultepec Park, and since it is a Sunday, it was absolutely lined with vendors. We each got a gordita de nata stuffed with cajeta. Kind of missed those.
Yep.
And the statue behind us is the rain god, I think, Tlaloc. He is absolutely massive, and he is at the entrance to the museum.
When you walk in, the right side of the museum houses displays on many of the indigenous groups currently living in Mexico. On display are their traditional artesanías, clothing, and information about their celebrations. Along the back wall is a jaw-dropping display of some of the most impressive artifacts found in archaeological zones throughout Mexico. We just finished up at the museum and it's almost 4 o'clock.
Not everything was available in English. Some things were only available in Spanish. We probably read about a third of the posters, and that's how long it took us. I would definitely plan for a long time, especially if you're into learning about all of the current indigenous groups, as well as learning about all of the different archaeological zones and all of the people that used to live throughout Mexico. So yeah, definitely time consuming. Our next stop is definitely tacos.
We had to stand in a very long line for these tacos, and they were absolutely worth it. First up, our second day of exploring Mexico City is El Monumento de la Revolución, right behind us.
It is absolutely massive, and you can actually go down this little ramp into a museum and then go up the elevator to get a view from the top, but since today is Monday, it is closed like most museums. Our second mission is to actually go to a metro stop to buy a transportation card. Unfortunately, you can't buy one at OXXO or anywhere else except for metro stops. So yesterday what we did was we would get on the bus, we'd have 20 pesos ready, and we would just ask somebody if they would scan their card for both of us, because it's 6 pesos per person. So we ended up paying 20 pesos, they got an extra 8, and it worked out well, except for the last lady of the day would not take my money. So she was very nice, and I appreciate it. Thank you, lady in the turquoise jacket. But hopefully we can get a card today so we can take care of it ourselves. It's slightly annoying, but like I said, 6 pesos per ride, it's a good deal. I heard some people say that the public transportation isn't safe. We felt very safe.
So far, no problem.
And there's actually a section on the bottom of the buses. All the buses are pretty much double decker, and the bottom section in the back is actually a women's only section. It has like pink handrails. So especially if you're a solo female traveler, you can head back there and feel super safe. It did get a little crowded around rush hour, but when we used it in the middle of the day and in the morning, no problems.
So we finally made it to the Zocalo with the help of a couple of very friendly Mexicans.
Yeah, when we got to the station, they were actually out of cards, and so a guy gave us his spare card for free, and then we were having a little trouble recharging it on the machine, so the security guards came over to help. I think I forgot how friendly and helpful Mexicans are. We've had like 3 really positive interactions, and we've only been here a day and a half so far, so I really love that about here. But our first stop, of course, is going to be the main cathedral.
Unfortunately, no video is allowed inside the cathedral, but Georgia was able to take a ton of pictures. So here in the main Zocalo, they're having a Fiesta de las Culturas Indígenas.
And part of that are these giant tents that are absolutely filled with artisanía stalls. They've got copper from Santa Clara del Cobre. They've got alebrijes from Oaxaca. They have leather from León. They have woven items from Chiapas. They have those intricately embroidered tops from like the Yucatan and Quintana Roo areas. They have obsidian from Tequila. It's kind of cool because it's all these different things that we've seen from all over Mexico. They have all the Lele dolls, tons and tons of Lele dolls from Querétaro. And we actually picked up a little Dia de Muertos Lele. But I think now we are headed on to yet another church.
So after checking out a couple of churches, we stopped at what is said to be the most beautiful post office in the world.
And I think it just might be, we saw one in Vietnam that was also really pretty, but I do think this one beats it. And a cool thing, this one is still a functioning post office. So people on one side were trying to mail their letters while a bunch of tourists on the other side were taking photos. I think next we're actually heading to Sears. Okay, well, you might have been wondering why I said we were going to Sears, and it is to go to their cafe, which is Cafe Finca Don Porfirio, and it is on the 8th floor, and it is extremely popular, not just because the frappuccinos are delicious, but because it has the most amazing view.
At this point, we were starving, so we decided to stop and try some more highly rated tacos. So after our tacos at Kiosquitos yesterday, which weren't as good as the tacos we had before, we headed back to the hotel to beat out the rain.
Yeah, it rains almost every afternoon since it's rainy season, but we did come back out and we got some great shots of the Revolution Monument as well as Los Bellas Artes at night. And then we grabbed a couple of drinks at a little cerveceria. And then this morning, our first stop is the Templo Mayor Museum. This templo used to be huge, but was, as I understand it, mostly kind of taken apart to build the cathedral by the Spanish. So we're going to see what there is to see.
We just finished up the Templo Mayor Museum.
They're actually still doing excavations here, so there were kind of large portions that were roped off that we weren't able to see. But the museum is extensive and has a ton of artifacts from this site. But I think some of the most impressive ones were actually at the museum that we went to the other day of anthropology. So I would actually recommend, if you come to Mexico City, coming to the actual Templo first, and then going to the Anthropology Museum, because you might appreciate what you see there a little bit more, because the more impressive stuff is there. Here is the smaller stuff, so seeing it second wasn't as cool, because our expectations were here, you know? So other than that, though, it was really, really cool. We enjoyed it, and now we're pretty hungry, so I think we're gonna grab some food.
We just finished our delicious lunch at El Cardinal.
The food was really, really good. They make their bread and their tortillas in-house by hand. We started with the flautas de cordero, or lamb, basically hard fried tacos. Super, super good. Then I got the chili en nogada, which is only available for about a month out of the year here. And this one was my favorite one I've had so far. Delicious. And what'd you get?
I got the chilaquiles con arrachera with basically a beefsteak. It was very good, and the green sauce on it was delicious.
We also got naranjadas, which is just basically where they take some fresh squeezed orange juice and then they put in a ton of sparkling water. So they're super refreshing. And now we are headed over to Bellas Artes to actually go in the museum this time, not just admire the gorgeous building outside.
We just finished up in El Palacio de Bellas Artes.
Unfortunately, I was a bit heartbroken because they are restoring the Palacio from the inside. So luckily the outside doesn't have any scaffolding or anything, but they do have like a kind of tarp covering the ceiling so you can't see the inside like you normally could. The mural section of the museum was really, really cool, and then they had like a modern video, I don't know how to describe
Exhibit.
it. Yeah. Which had different panels that showed different little artistic video clips that were referring to when the conquistadors actually came to Mexico City and burnt down the Templo Mayor that we saw earlier today, and the final battles and everything. So that was really interesting. I enjoyed that part as well, but it was very small. I think we were in and out in like 45 minutes and we saw everything that they had to offer. You can see shows here, so you can actually see the theater part of it, and then we saw a sign that you could actually do a guided tour to see more of the architecture and the explanation behind the building. So maybe we'll come back in the future and do that part, because I love architecture and this building is absolutely gorgeous.